I was like, when's it gonna get like odd or stupid at the end? And then it didn't, and I was like, huh, well, that's not an A24.
Different type of A24
different
film.
type of A24 film. Hi, this is Randall here for No Market Media.
And I'm Matt. Today, Randall and I are reviewing a new movie that's currently out in theaters. We're taking a look at Men. It stars Jessie Buckley, Rory Kinnear, and Papa Essie Adu. It's written and directed by Alex Garland, who's also known for Ex Machina and Annihilation, and as the writer of 28 Days Later.
Trying to find some peace for herself after the death of her estranged husband, Harper, portrayed by Jessie Buckley, drives up to a rental in the country to get away from everything. It isn't long until she finds out that some things simply cannot be so easily forgotten. It has seen above average response from critics, but kind of mixed reviews from audiences. And of course, in a really rare bit of the turning of the tables, the United States is getting this one before the UK, which is very weird for films that are filmed in the UK and based in the UK, which usually come out there at least a week or two before they come out here.
Alright, having just watched this film yesterday, I feel like this is a movie I'm still trying to fully figure out. I believe it's well shot, it's well acted, and has some pretty gruesome moments in it.
I want to emphasize that we always write our reviews separate from each other. My first line is, I'm still trying to digest this one. I'm like, there's a lot in this movie. I think the A24 must have like a clause in their contract about can't use a normal widescreen ratio. Anyone who's filming or doing cinematography for one of our films must use a weird ratio. The movie is adequately like creepy and weird, which is kind of what I expect out of most A24 films. Sometimes, like when we did Minari, I was like, when's it gonna get like odd or stupid at the end? And then it didn't, and I was like, huh, well, that's not an A24
Different type of A24 film.
Different type of A24 film. But yeah, like if you go into this one and you're like, oh yeah, I have an expectation of this being something odd, you will not be disappointed that this is something odd.
Even if it takes a little bit for it to get really, really odd. But yes, throughout most of the movie, yeah, it is pretty odd.
So the plot's interesting of this because it just depends on what you want to take out of it. It's kind of like a make your own adventure plot, or at least what you want to get out of it. Like, and if you watch the trailer, you're like, okay, there's this story about a woman that's being stalked by men who are all have like the same face, all played by Rory Kinnear. And you're like, okay, but then when you watch it, is that part of it? Yeah, it's definitely part of the plot. But is she really being stalked, or is there something weird going on? Or is there something weird going on and she's being stalked? Or what is the meaning of all of the men all having the same face? Like, the plot plays into all of that, basically. Well, what does everything mean? And then you might come away with a different feeling like what this plot means to you than what it means to someone else. Usually plots are much more straightforward than this, which is probably why it's a little mixed.
Yeah, I would say the plot is the part that I'm trying to figure out a whole lot of. Like, I understand the basic. I understand, hey, she's getting away, going to this countryside to basically kind of, I don't want to say like reset her mind, but basically be able to focus on herself more in this moment. And I understand what her encounters mean that she has with these, different men and stuff. Like, I believe I understand like the point that the movie's trying to get across. What I don't really understand is probably like the last 10 minutes of the film, like how all of that comes together, and the film is a little bit different than what the rest of the film kind of was a little bit. So I think that part of the plot to me is what I'm really trying to figure out. But like, you know what? There's a lot of messages he's trying to get in here, but I'm just trying to figure out how that all comes together.
I sat in the theater thinking to myself during the last like climax, the part of the film, like, so this means this, and then this means this, and then this. But then all of a sudden something else happens, and I'm like, well, no, wait, I gotta go back and rethink what this means. But yeah, like all the other stuff in front of it, it's just like, I kind of got away with, this is maybe borderline spoiler, but kind of not, because it's in the trailer that Rory Kinnear plays all of these different people. of like the plot and the meaning of it kind of being like from a female perspective, which I'm not, so I could be completely wrong, of all men are the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, that's what I kind of pull out of the plot, like, why they all have the same face. They're all playing different characters. They just all look the same.
Yep.
Like, all men are the same.
That's the thing, too. That's how I think I was originally going in with the film for the first part. But honestly, I think the last 10 minutes kind of threw me off because it does go into more like artistic, visual type of thing. And then it's trying to figure out what that all, means and stuff, too. It's another one of those movies that, when Jessie Buckley's character, when she first gets to the cottage and, she meets, the guy that owns the house, and he's telling her different things. I'm like, oh, this is something that's coming back later. Oh, this is something that's coming back later. This is something that's coming back later. So this might be a movie that I might actually watch again just to see if I can re-pick on those different things and see how it comes to fruition.
Yeah, every single thing that he tells her comes back someplace else in the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
So for the characters, like Randall and I already mentioned, like the two standouts are definitely Buckley and Kinnear or whatever. They're excellent, especially with Kinnear having to play multiple roles. Some of them are kind of similar, but some of them are like completely different and stuff too. So that is really interesting. And, Buckley does a really good job. She plays a character that I, feel for. Like, in these types of movies, you want to, like, feel the tension or actually, fear for, the safety or mental well-being of your main character. And this does this for me. I definitely feel for this character, and, I feel tense and stuff when she's in not great situations.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I plan on talking about that a little bit later. But yeah, one of the things that makes a really good character-driven film like this work is when you really care about a character.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just feel so much like Jessie Buckley's character is being tormented. I mean, they even use that word in the film at one point, basically. Now, on the flip side of that, Kinnear, I remember watching the trailer like, oh man, I've never seen Kinnear do this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's got that one episode of Black Mirror. He's playing all of these characters, and they're all different. Every single one of them is just a little bit different from each other, and he's playing them all. Like, wow, okay, that's neat and different way of doing it, and saving on your budget, basically. I guess at the end, it just all gets combobulated, though, when her ex comes, like, something more about, like, her past and, like, her estranged husband comes back. Like, he shows up sporadically throughout the film in, like, flashback scenes. And then all of a sudden you're just like, huh, okay, I don't know what this means now that this character's quote-unquote back. But, like, I know that's spoilerish, but it's just... I didn't know what to make of that character. I could make sense of Kinnear's character. I could make sense of Buckley's character. But this estranged ex-character who shows up sporadically, and then all of a sudden at the end, what's going on here with him? Alright, so this for me is a psychological suspense thriller. And as Matt already pointed out, this is what I was going to say I'm going to get into more, is it nails it. I feel very uncomfortable watching this movie. And if that's their goal, which I think it is, then they just did an excellent job. All in, I feel for Jessie Buckley's character. I feel creeped out by all of the Rory Kinnear's characters that are going on here. The storyline that's being told and all of the different possible themes that's going on. Yeah, suspenseful, thriller, all of it. They just 100% nailed what their intention. So I appreciate it for that.
Yeah, I almost want, like, horror, maybe, like, social horror. Because a lot of it is, like you said, it's from these interactions and stuff. That you really feel that uneasiness or, thriller kind of thing or whatever, tense kind of thing. If I had to maybe include another one, maybe a little bit of drama. I think some of it would be between Rory and her husband's, like, interactions. There may be some elements of, like, drama there a little bit, but I think that also kind of ties in to, like, that horror, that, like, social horror aspect of this film. But yes, I agree. I feel very uneasy and stuff watching a lot of the scenes, and I 100% think that is the point of that film.
The whole thing is to make you feel as uncomfortable as the character. you know, and everything that's going on, and it's called Men, okay? So like, there's obviously that overtone of this is how men control women, you know, and you can feel that. So I can't heap enough praise on they just nailed that particular aspect.
Yep. I didn't expect the last 10 minutes going, I would say visual horror is what I would go on with, kind of thing, where we really get to see more of like the visual elements that you normally see kind of in a horror film, but kind of like a arts film, I think, too. I think this kind of more ties into like another one of Garland's movies, like Annihilation or whatever. A lot of that kind of like visual things are, you know, that's when a lot of that stuff is revealed, and even like Buckley's character is like questioning like what the heck is going on, you know, looking at Kinnear's character, they're like, what are you kind of thing is what she says, where she actually comes to realization that the audience has come to realization through a lot of the film or whatever. So yeah, that part, it was I did not see that coming.
All right, so this is an Alex Garland film, and it's an A24 film. So I fully expected the ending to be a little different and, you know, like weird. I didn't expect it to be this weird. That's my didn't see it coming. Like, I mean, I'm not shocked that things went like kind of wonky, because that was within the repertoire of both the director and the studio. But it went a little bit weirder than even I thought it was going to be, basically. I mean, think about almost like going full on Evil Dead weird. You know, just that's what happens. I don't understand what happens at the end of Evil Dead. I do, but you know, this one's weirder than that, you know.
It's interesting. I've read that they call this, kind of going back to genre, but it works with this part. They call it like folk horror, and like the whole idea of like how you represent like an outsider seeing like other things that people believe or whatever, kind of like magical, or I don't know if you want to say like religious work, because I think that they try to tie all that in. That, I think, really where, if you say folk horror, I would say the last 10 minutes really hit down that folk horror kind of aspect of it.
So in conclusion, if you're a fan of like Ari Aster films like Hereditary, Midsommar, or Alex Garland's previous works like Annihilation or Ex Machina, you're going to like this one too. It's not exactly my cup of tea, but I'm still happy I saw it. Because it's not another just big blockbuster movie, basically. I'm like, I enjoy going and watching some of these, for lack of a better term, artsy, art house type movies. Because it gives me something different. It gives me a different release than just, popcorn film action. You know? Right. So, if that's your thing, you're probably going to enjoy this film too.
Yeah, I echoing a lot of that. I think this is a film for people who don't want to see something that's just straightforward. If you want to see something new that you're thinking about, I think some people might like, oh, I know exactly what the filmmaker is trying to say and all this and stuff too.
You might think that.
Me, I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those like, you know what, I do need to think about this movie more and really look into the ending of this film, because there's a lot of visual stuff happening at the end of this film that I'm still trying to wrap around, saying like, what message are they actually telling? Like, I think I might have the surface of it, but to really get down in deep, it's going to take a while for me to look into it. But yeah, I agree. If you like a lot of his other films, it's something different, it's something new, and something you'll probably think about for a while.
But of course, we want to know what you guys think about Men. If you have seen it, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We also have some other stuff on our YouTube page. Go check it out. New movie reviews, flashback movie reviews, some TV series reviews, and some deeper dive discussions.
We also have a Facebook page. Be sure to check us out there. We post before our reviews come out to let you know the topic of that review. We also post some other things from our fandoms, trailers, different stuff like that. If you don't have Facebook, don't worry about it. Just go to our YouTube page. Our videos come out regularly. For now, I'm Matt with No Market Media. Have a good day, everyone.
And I'm Randall. I'll see everyone next time.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.